All right. So we are live. We should be live here. How's the audio sound and how does the picture quality look for me? Let me know down in the comment section. And then also Rob will be on from the Digital Asset News channel. He will be on here shortly. There was just a little mix up in time. So all right. What's up, Rick? All right, can you guys hear me okay on the audio? Just want to make sure you guys can hear me before we start jumping into this live stream. Audio and picture is good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And it's just me filtering through the comments as well, so I know things may get a little crazy, so I'm going to do my best also when Rob comes on to filter through the comments as well. So I want to say thanks for everyone tuning into the live stream. And the topics we're going to be covering today, while we're waiting on more people to join the live stream and while we're waiting on Rob to join, we are going to be talking about the overall crypto market cap because things is definitely pumping. We've hit 2 trillion again in the market. So that's definitely a big, huge thing, right? We're going to be talking about a little bit of crypto market regulation. We are also going to be talking about crypto market recovery, of course, because market is definitely pumping back again. There's my beautiful wife there. Looks good. Sounds good. Thank you, baby. We have, we're going to be talking about what Rob learned from the crypto market because he's been investing a lot longer than me, just in general. And then also he's been investing longer than me as far as the crypto stock market. And so I'm going to be talking to Rob as well, kind of like what has he learned through these different market cycles, just to try to get some knowledge from someone who's seen some success in the crypto market. And then after that, I'm gonna kind of talk with Rob about why does he dollar cost average? Excuse me. So yeah, I'm gonna ask Rob, why does he dollar cost average? For those of you that may be unfamiliar with his channel, very large channel, definitely go give him a subscribe. I will have his channel linked down. Excuse me, man, got a frog in my throat. But I will have his channel linked down in the comment section after this live stream goes through the playback. And he's also a featured channel on my channel as well. So if you just go to my YouTube channel and you just go to the featured channels, you'll see Rob Digital Asset News. So definitely consider giving him a subscribe. I've learned a lot from him as well. He pretty much breaks down everyday news. So it's a really big deal. So, and Rob is on the stream now. And Rob, how is it going, brother? Sorry for the delay on that, man. Probably my bad on that.
It wasn't your fault because I saw 11. It was just my inability to deal with time zones. But I am here now, so we are good. How's it going, Mike?
It is going great, man. It is going great. I know you just kind of got back from like a family/business vacation with the family from Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, just got back. It was good times. It was good times. It was we had 2 of the kids with us, and then their significant others and grandson, and it was good. Good times had by all, I think. And of course, when I was there, everything great happened and everything bad happened. So we had a great run. We had there was a hack for Poly. It was a Poly network, $600 billion, something crazy like that. And then of course,
that's a lot of money.
Oh my God. And then, like people say, we don't need regulation. We don't need regulation. I got to tell you, sometimes when I look at these hacks or whatever else, I'm like, look, it's not a big deal until it happens to you. And just go ask, what is it? Box Mining. I think he got hit for a big chunk of that. So
yeah. And so I was kind of giving the audience a rundown of what we're going to be covering. We got about 100 people watching right now, Rob, and counting. And so the few things I wanted to talk about, we just want to briefly look at the overall crypto market cap, just because we've hit that 2 trillion market cap again, and we've started back pumping. I want to kind of talk about crypto market regulation a little bit, which we briefly talked about on your channel. And then I want to kind of talk about what's your thoughts on the crypto market cap, as far as it recovering and everything like that. What's your thoughts? And then also with you being more experienced, I would say, in just investing in general, and then just more investing as far as just in crypto, just kind of what you learned from the crypto market with the different swings, and then kind of why do you dollar cost average?
Sure. We'll do all that stuff. Let's do it.
All right. And so I'm going to give you access as well if you would like to share your screen, but I'm going to go ahead and pull up CoinGecko just so we can kind of look at this market cap here.
Okay. And then hello, everybody. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late, but we are here. We're good. Jojo, Ron, Mixed Chemist, Brian McIntyre, Live and Dope Bit, everybody.
All right. So we should be on CoinGecko
Got it.
now.
Look
All
at
right. So
that, $2 trillion.
$2 trillion, up 4.7% on 24 hours. That is crazy. And I remember you tweeted like maybe a day or two ago. You said about once we hit that 2 trillion again, we're going to be off and selling, right?
Yeah, yeah, because I think it's a mental barrier. It's either a mental barrier that people think like 2 trillion and they start to FOMO in, or it's a sign that you're going to see some people take profits. Although I got to tell you, I'm surprised it keeps going, because I thought it'll be like a step ladder. Like we'd take a couple steps forward, then a step back. People take profits, a couple steps forwards. But it seems like people are really wanting to hold on to their assets, and it's just amazing to me.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's also, it's funny you say that. I think that comes with the more awareness of crypto, more awareness of the assets. You think when you say people are wanting to hold on to their crypto assets, I think that's kind of people are starting to understand the use case, understand the power of cryptocurrency. Would you agree to that, Rob?
I think so here's what I'd say about that, because and it all goes to that infrastructure bill, because when the infrastructure bill came about, and then the senators put in that language that really put or took out the whole control for anything outside of proof of work. And then they had an amendment, then proof of stake come in. And then we had to take a look at the delegators and the developers and the hardware mechanics and all the people that actually make that. And then all of a sudden, it was like all the people in the crypto community bombarded all their senators with this message, which was, don't screw us, because if you do this in the language, it's going to mess everything up. And it was such a big tidal wave. And I think that there was something about the data analytics that took a look at between this one, as far as like cryptocurrency digital assets, and the net neutrality, which was 2, 3, 4 years back, when there was a big, huge discussion about that. And they said that they saw even more of an outflow from the people who were in cryptocurrency than the net neutrality issue, which was a big, huge issue. So I think it makes people sit up and go, wow, there really is a lot more people in here than we thought it was. And I think that gives us that power to kind of come in and go, this is what's happening. This is where we think things are going. And if you're not with us, then you're against us, and we'll make your life very hard, which is what happens. So I think people look at that and go, wow, this may be bigger than I thought it was, because we were even in, center stage on a national platform.
Well said. Well said. I would agree. And when we look at just the overall crypto market, and we look at the $1 trillion infrastructure bill pertaining to crypto, and then we look at the, Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell from Federal Reserve, how he talks about we need regulation also for stable coins, right? What's kind of your take on that when they say stable coins? Because I think stable coins is truly part of the foundation of the payment system for cryptos.
Yeah, so I never really thought much about stable coins. I thought they were just there just so people could, as they say, tether up. I don't use Tether, I use USDC. And I just thought that was the big thing. But I think what we have here is stable coins are becoming more center stage, and they're going to play a bigger role in what is going on than I even thought. I think than maybe a lot of people thought. Well, a lot of people are smarter than me, so they probably figured it out beforehand. And then I never understood why, Circle and their USDC made so many strides to work with Visa, to work with all these different outside companies to really make it the forefront. And now I think I get it, because this digital dollar, look, banks aren't here for innovation, right? So when Jerome Powell says, we're going to do a commission and we're going to take a look at all this stuff, that's a long time away, but the stable coins are already here. So I think they're going to piggyback on top of those, because look, the government's main priority is to regulate. They are not to innovate. So if we have stable coins, they will regulate those and see, which ones are backed. And of course, they're going to take a look at Tether. But I think it's going to play a part as to where everything goes as far as with the cryptocurrencies. And then I think I know people out there, people love Tether, right? For some reason. I just don't use Tether, and I just don't like the whole narrative around it. And we just did a story about how USDC and Circle are looking to become a nationwide legit bank. And I was like, wow, I mean, here we go.
Yeah, yeah. And for me personally, I don't use Tether either. I only use USDC.
Yeah.
And when we kind of look at, even though Tether is the largest stable coin right now, when we kind of look at the partnerships, when we look at the big money, they're kind of going towards USDC is what we are seeing. And so I can definitely see in the future USDC overtaking Tether as far as market cap, far as the stable coin for the US, in my opinion.
Yeah. And so let me say like this, like USDC, like I use Voyager. Everybody knows I'm a big Voyager guy. Everybody knows I'm super biased because I own Voyager. It's true. But I will say this, imagine this in a world. No, I'm just, no, seriously, just imagine where you have it to where you have your paycheck comes in, right? And your paycheck could go to your bank, sure. Or it could go to some place like a Voyager, or it could go to your bank, and then you say, okay, I don't want to store my dollars here. I'm going to transfer over to Voyager or whatever exchange or brokerage that you want, and then it automatically goes to USDC, and you get 9% automatically. And then on top of that, since you have a USDC right now, then it's so easy to get into all the other cryptos that are out there. And then of course you can go into decentralized exchanges and use USDC. And then just play around in the whole market. I think that is the big thing that I missed in the beginning, and I get it now of why it's such a big deal.
I agree, and I think this is a pretty good statement, because I do think the Binance stablecoin is legit. What's your take on that? Do you think the Binance stablecoin is a legit stablecoin to have if you wanted to hold it?
So, well, I can't speak to it. I can't speak to what Naughty Jackal says about that. But Binance, see, I can't use Binance. I can't use Binance Global because I'm in Texas, and I don't want to use a VPN because I'm old-fashioned. I don't like to do things like that. And I can't even use it Binance US because I'm in Texas. So I can't speak to it. I have no idea, and that's all I got. I don't know, Mike. Do you use it?
The only reason I've used it was to transfer into another stable coin. So like if I'm using DeFi, like the Binance Smart Chain, to lock in profits, I may, convert a token into that coin and then send it to the USDC. So, I mean, that would be the only reason why I would probably use it. But I do think it's more legit than Tether. I would say that.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it works for somebody, and on some exchanges, you got to use whatever they're using, right? So if it's that, I know like on one exchange a while ago, I had to use Tether, and I was like loathing it because I got to transfer into this and this and this. But if you need to, then do it.
Gotcha. So Rob, what's your take, man, on how the market has just literally kind of just from under 30,000, it went under 30 to 20, little over 29K, and it jumped back up over 30 really fast. And then now we can see the market is just starting to pump now. So, I mean, it's a little bit under 2 trillion now, but I mean, that's to be expected. And so what's kind of your take on how the market has just pushed up? Yeah, I mean, we've seen 700 billion hit the market in like 30 days, man.
It's concerning because when you have these types of run-ups, remember 2017? Oh no, Mike, you got in later. You were smarter than me. I got in. No, I got in 2017 at the very height, and it was just seemed like everywhere you looked, it was crypto everywhere. I mean, there was even a skit on Saturday Night Live. They were talking about on MSNBC constantly, and it was just like all over the place. So like when I got in, it just kind of seemed like that was the thing to do because it was going to go up, and you wanted to get on that ride, even though I had no idea what it was. And then I think it's kind of coming into that whole narrative now. However, I will say this. If you talk to any TA guys out there or gals, they'll tell you, I knew it the whole time. It was already it was already put in that the TA said it was going to go to X amount and da-da-da. And you're going to find those people. And those people, I have a different opinion on the whole TA aspect. Like I I look at TA as just like good entry and exit points. That kind of helps me out, when I look at like things like the MACD and the RSI. But to see where things are going, I mean, you can take a look at the moving averages and kind of go from there. But I don't know if anybody really does go and say this is exactly where it's going. I'm going to bank it all on this. So on this one, Mike, I'm cautiously optimistic. But last week I was on. It was George over Cryptos R Us and James from Invest Answers, and we all thought that we didn't think it would continue on this level to 2 trillion. When we hit 1.7, we're like, this is awesome. But we were expecting a pullback, and there's been no pullback. So, no. I mean, we hear about these supply shocks. We hear about all these big investment banks getting into it, all these hedge funds, and everybody hoarding Bitcoin. And also, there's no more sell-off from these Chinese miners because they're all moving and they've already sold all the things they needed to. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I just got a funny feeling, but that's just me because I'm always nervous.
I hear you. And that's funny you say that. So, I mean, that's one thing that we've known about the crypto market is it can change like the weather. One second it can be bullish, next second it can be kind of bearish, right? And so with you being invested in the crypto market for a little bit of time, what would you say to like newer investors and some things that you've learned, mistakes and success stories from the crypto market from your time?
So the thing that I will tell you this, the thing that the crypto market taught me was patience and to be able to take a look at a wider view than just the 1 inch in front of my face, which was play the long game. And when you get into it, because it's more of an accelerated pace than like the traditional markets, which Mike, I know you were a big investor back in the day. So like here, you can't. It's okay if things drop 2 to 3% on the S&P 500 because you're like, well, it's just 2 or 3%. And you could go all in at some point. It's like not a big deal. But here you have to accelerate all that because there's swings of, I mean, we just saw a 50% swing in a couple months ago. So what it shows me is to not to sell my cars and my businesses and everything else, just go all in. It's to just pick my spots and go, okay, I'm either going to dollar cost average, which is, $100 or $25 every day, week, month, or whatever you can afford, or it's value cost averaging and going, okay, I've got $5,000. I'm going to put in $1,000 every week into X, Y, and Z. And that just taught me patience because if I wasn't patient, which I was in 2017, and I dumped everything, then you write it up and guess what happens? You write it right back down. So it's a good lesson. But if you don't sell, you don't lose. You just got to wait.
I hear you. And I'm a firm believer of what you said. I think one of the hardest things, because even with regulation coming in, I still think we're so early in this space that we're going to see so much wealth come in. So I think, some people say, hey, man, Rob, Mike, with regulation, we're going to lose our gains. We're going to, I believe it's going to take out of a lot of scams and stuff like that. But I think with the market still being so small, we're still going to see tremendous amounts of money wealth, volatility, even with regulation because it's so small. Would you disagree or would you agree with that, Rob?
Just what you said. I just thought about this. You know how we always talk about the big money, the smart money, they're on the sidelines. Yeah. And they don't want to get into something where it's going to be deemed a security or it's going to be deemed a commodity, or they probably all looking at Mark Cuban right now with Iron Finance and all the rug pull this thing that he happened. Maybe they're looking at this whole regulation and going, you know what? Maybe this is the time to get in now because regulation is going to actually go through. They've already looked like they might pass it, even though it sucks. It's a bad bill for us. Maybe they're like, you know what? This is what we're gunning for anyhow, and then they're going to get back in. So maybe the big money is like, okay, regulation's here. I'm here. It's just it's a pure guess. Don't take that to the bank, everybody.
This is financial opinion, right?
Yes, that's right. This is financial opinion, man. This ain't financial advice.
And so when you say dollar cost average, I think that style takes a lot of discipline, right? Mm-hmm. Because I mean, I guess to me, in my opinion, because you're investing through the lows, through the highs, through the entire swing of the market to get the best average price of that asset. And so when you're dollar cost averaging and things like that, Rob, how do you stick to your course? Let's just say, because these are frequent questions I get. People say, I want to just keep investing in this monthly, but what if it jumps up too much or it goes down too low? What's kind of your thought process on that when that happens to one of your assets?
Oh, so here's a great example.
Yeah.
I've been talking about dollar cost averaging forever, since I even started my channel, pretty much, because it's like the safest route. It's almost like magic sometimes. But once we hit that bull run, once Elon Musk and Tesla got in, once PayPal and Venmo got in, and everything started to do this big, more of a hockey stick, and I was still preaching about dollar cost averaging. I'm like, just wait. And I got so much feedback from people on my channel going, Rob, you're a moron. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a relic from 2017, and it's just going to keep going up. I'm like, if you look at history, it usually doesn't work out like that. And then sure enough, not that I'm like, oh, I was totally, on the ball, but I just kind of look at the history. It could have kept going all the way up, and I still would have been okay, because I was like, you know what, I'll just pick my spots, and then that's it. So even though we do this, what goes up eventually must come down. So you have to just take a look at the history and just go, well, okay, that's what happened in the past. I can go all in, right now at, what's Bitcoin at? 50,000 right now? 48,000?
48. Let's go back and pull it up here, Rob.
Yeah. Yeah. Rick Alba says, haha, Rob, feedback. Yeah, I know. I like to be as nice as I possibly can. My subscribers they're great. They're great, but they tell me when I'm wrong all the time. What we got?
All right, so Bitcoin is 46.3 right now. Market's at a little under 1.9. It's about 8 billion off of 2 trillion. So
yeah. So look, you can today, right now, you can go all in. And that's what my friend Diddy did over at Diddy from the Bitcoin family. He went in early 2017 and did not care, and he sold everything, and it worked out great. But how many people are picking that exact time frame and it's perfect? And here's another thing to consider. You can go on right now and at 46, and I can't guarantee it, but if my mom asked me, hey, is Bitcoin going to go up? I would say, yes, Mom, Bitcoin, I think, is going to go to around 100 to 130K by the end of the year. And if you can go all in and take the turbulence and stomach it, then it doesn't matter if it goes up or down, because you're just waiting for that 100, 300, 500K or whatever you think it's going to. But the thing is, can you mentally stomach it? And who was it? Not Pete Najarian or John Najarian. One of the investment legends talks about, hey, it's not Peter Lynch. It's not about, do you have the brain power for it? Because everybody has the brain power. It's, do you have the stomach for it to take this volatility? And he was talking about the traditional market when it's just like swings of 3%, not 50%. So that's my takeaway.
Yeah. And so when we look at Bitcoin, got a super sticker. What was that? J-Rome TV. Got to give some love.
Super sticker.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the support, man. Ask a question as well if you got one. So Rob, I want to kind of ask you, what made you pick the strategy of dollar cost averaging? Just in simplest terms, if they haven't understood from everything you said so far on the stream, what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna just dollar cost average instead of trying to time the market? I'm gonna just do it this way. This is my strategy.
Okay. So here's a good one. It's like Warren Buffett says, you have to learn from mistakes, but they don't have to be your mistake. So just learn from my mistake. And my mistake was, I realized that going all in probably wasn't the great idea when I didn't have that money to do it. And I kind of took it from a lot of different of my other businesses to go all in. And I got in at around, first it was 8,500 for Bitcoin, then 12,000, then 17,500. And then 2 weeks later, it went down to, it all started to crash. So I learned right then that I probably wasn't a genius at timing the market. So I thought to myself, okay, so here's your options, Rob. You can sell and take these huge losses, and which should be okay for taxes, right? Or you can keep everything and start to look at, getting back in the game. And then my wife, she bought me a book. It was called The Intelligent Investor during this time. She's like, hey, I know you've been complaining about this. And it was a great book. It's an old classic. And
Peter Lynch, right?
Yeah. And there you go. And it was, and it just said, like, if you really just goes like, if you can't time the market or you don't really aren't understanding everything, then just do what's called dollar cost averaging. I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. And I looked into it and it's like magic. So, am I going to lose some gains for not going on? Yes. Am I going to be okay with that? Absolutely. Because over the long haul, that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's very key that you said that, because I mean, I think the long haul as well is different for each individual investor, because everyone's goals are not the same. Like we said all the time, my goals are not your goals, right?
That's right.
So, and we say that all the time, but I think when we really understand what our goals are, that within itself make us all better investors, because we actually know what we're going after. It's like having a plan written down. Yeah, you can tweak it along the way, but if you never had like a plan written down, or at least some type of structure, you're just kind of floating in the ocean, right? And so it's kind of the same thing with investing. I feel like if you don't have a plan, if you don't have, price targets for different cryptos you're wanting to cash out on, how do you ever take advantage of it, right?
Right. And then, so like, I'll get a lot of this on my channel, which is you never sell your crypto because it's going to go up forever. And Jamie's right. Thank goodness for wives. So here's a prime example. So Mike, like your goals, right? Your goals. Let's just go with Bitcoin. I think you have some Bitcoin, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let's just start right there. And I'm going to show you guys how different things are as far as goals go. Mike, what's your goal for Bitcoin for this cycle, for this end of year, and just to the end of year? And if it goes to 100K, what would be your goal then?
Yeah, so I think that Bitcoin can still hit six figures, but the lower six figures, 100K, which I mentioned on your channel.
Sure.
And with that being said, this kind of goes into what I wanted to talk about as well. So if Bitcoin hits 100K, well, if things just retrace where they were, Rob, the market hit an all-time high at 2.6 trillion. So
Right.
If we're just talking generality, hypothetically speaking, in a perfect world, all right, Bitcoin was a $1 trillion asset class by itself when the market was at an all-time high at 2.6 trillion, right?
Yeah.
So that means the other altcoins, including Ethereum, was 1.6 trillion. Mm-hmm. So if the market just 1x's from where it was, that puts us at a 5.2 trillion market cap. That puts Bitcoin at 2 trillion, and that puts the other altcoins at 3.2 trillion. So that gives 2 trillion plus 3.2. That's how we get 5.2 trillion, guys. So easy math. But if we look at it from those numbers, I definitely think it's possible, because when we just look at Bitcoin went from 3 to 5,000, then it went to 20K. Well, that's more than a 5x. When we look at Bitcoin going from 64.9, let's just say 65K to 100K.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot more money in here as well. I mean, yes, we're talking more money to hit that price, but we have also a lot more money coming in. So I think it's realistic that it can happen, to J.E. Thanks, brother. What's up, man? Thanks for the chat. He said you are the GOAT, Rob. That's why I got him on the channel.
That's a stretch, but I appreciate it, Jake. Thanks for watching. Always appreciative.
But I think if Bitcoin can hit 100K, of course, it's going to be a little over. It's going to be close to $1 trillion, give or take, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And so with that, I believe Bitcoin raises other altcoins as well. And so with that being said, my goal, I have certain cryptos that I'm just not going to sell. I have some that I'm just holding for passive income. And then I have certain cash out targets. For example, I'm not even going to name any tokens. I'm just going to say I have certain tokens that I look to cash out on.
Man. No, that's smart, because it's diversified, right? You don't have it. So everybody's got a different strategy. And when I first got in, the strategy was just this. Here's my goals. My goal is to invest and then sell everything, get the hell out. That was the goal, right? And then now, as time has gone on, and I think it's different for everybody. So if let's say you're 19 years old, you're in college, right? And you got a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of BTT, a little bit of Solana, a little bit of whatever, right? Maybe your goal around this time isn't to sell out. You're just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to keep it in and just let it ride all the way down. Now, let's say you are a retiree and you're like 70, in your late 70s. You're like, you know what? My goal is to actually put this into a 401k, or not 401k, sorry, a Roth IRA. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass this on to my kids. And that's a big thing. Or let's say that you're single mom, 2 kids, 3 jobs, right? And you're just like, you know what? As soon as this thing hits, I'm all out. It doesn't matter. Everybody's goal is different, and it's okay. So like, I know like there's a lot of discussion, and there's unfortunately a little bit of tribalism out there. So when people say, I'm gonna do this and do that, remember, their goals are not your goals. Your goals are not their goals.
So true. And one thing I want to say as well, a lot of people kind of, and sometimes newer investors fall victim to this, Rob. They wait for other people to tell them to take profits.
Yeah.
And for me, I want to say this: if someone's telling you to take profits, it's already too late. Would you agree to that?
Yeah. Well, not only to take profits, because like some of us, like you and George and and even like Alex Mascioli, I mean, they'll do some analysis and go, you know what, this might be a good time to take a little bit of profits. I think when people are told, hey, it's time to buy, or they're asking about like, hey, this one just took off, should I buy it? Then it's like way too late. But guess what? That's when everybody wants to buy things. Like no one was attracted to Bitcoin at 5,000 during the pandemic or during the COVID. No one was attracted to. Remember when Ethereum went down like around $100? And this was last year, everybody. Last year, we can look at the charts. That
just last year.
Yeah, this wasn't sexy. Like, oh, it's going to go down. Everybody likes a winner. So when it does this going up, that's when everybody wants to buy. But that's not when you get rich. That's not when you make all your money. You make money when things are moving sideways, it's choppy, it's boring, or when it goes way down and people buy the dips. But it's the hardest thing to do. And if you can just master that, you're good. Now, the next thing to master is when you take profits on the way up, because then you get greedy like me. And then you're like, no, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going up. I had a strategy to do like a step ladder. Like Theta would be a great example. There was different levels when I was like, okay, I'm going to sell at $7, then $12, and not like 100%, like 10% here, 15% there. And I did pretty good until I got to the middle, and I'm like, it'll keep going up forever. And guess what? It didn't. And so even me, who's out there, I don't stick to the plan 100% of the time. Even I screw up. So don't beat yourself up if you don't hit it every time.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, right? And I think, of course, we always learn more from the mistakes, but we don't like to make the mistakes, but we learn more from them, right?
That's the truth. That's the truth. I make mistakes all the time, as my wife. So yeah, and then Gives a G, thank you, man. I appreciate giving help supporting Mike and his channel. Thank you.
He says, Rob is the truth. G's, thanks for the support. And then we have another one. Another super chat. They're bringing it in. Great content. Thanks for the BTT info.
Yeah.
People's been going crazy with BTT because it's been back pumping. So we know how that goes.
Yeah. Did you guys know that the only reason that I invested in a BTT was Mike? Mike said it first, and I was like, I should buy it. And I bought a little bit. And then my friend George, he talked about it. I'm like, Mike the investor talks about it. And then George watches you too. And he goes, he goes, hello, future millionaires. I'm like, yeah, that guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, Rob, man, tell if there was anything you can tell a new investor, if you are just starting fresh in the crypto market as of now, what would you tell them? What would you say to people that may be starting to see all this hype rising up with the crypto market, and they're like, all right, what should I invest in? What should I do? What would you tell them, kind of someone that's more seasoned in the market? So for the beginner who's just getting in and like, okay, I heard about this, heard about that. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you something, and it's going to be very hard to listen to me, because there's so many people out there that's going to tell you that this is going to the moon, that's going to go, astronomical gains. And then they're going to talk to you about leverage trading and getting into trading and everything else. And it's going to seem so attractive because you're like, well, everybody's making money. I can make money. I can do this thing. And you can. I'm not saying you can't.
I'm not saying, well, yes, I am saying leverage trading is bad, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get wrecked real fast. I get emails all the time about people who are like, hey, I just lost, my life savings. What do I tell my wife? I'm like, better tell her now.
Ouch.
So what I'm going to tell you right now is this, is that don't get ahead of yourself. I know you want to FOMO in. I know you want to get in there, but there's been a long line of people who've done the same thing that you have done. And they're now in the chats right now telling you not to do it, not to like just go all in and everything else. Like I said, you can do it if you can stomach it, because I believe we're not going to keep going up for the next 6 months. I believe we're going to have some retracements and some pullbacks. So if you're okay with like not losing, but being down in value of 20%, 25% here and there, and you can stomach it, then it's up to you. Not financial advice, just opinion. But the safest route is just to take a look and look at the projects that you have, that has real world utility, that hasn't been hacked. There's a lot of those things going on, that has a great team and actually does good things, and is out there that is positive. So if you take a look at that and you can get behind a project, just dollar cost average, value cost average, again, $25, $100. If you're a baller, $1,000 a week or whatever you want to do, and just put it in there and then go from there.
Yeah, well said. And so, any questions you got for me, Rob, on anything that we kind of covered so far, or just kind of what's my thoughts on what's been happening?
Yeah, here's my thoughts on. Here's my question for you.
Yeah,
like when you first got in, because you did traditional finance stuff, right? TradFi. You were investing into like the original markets, the original
stock market,
the stock markets, the S&Ps and all that stuff. So what attracted you to come over here? Was it the volatility? Was it the gains, or was it this could actually change the whole finance thing?
All of the above. And then I also saw that handwriting on the wall, because remember when I started investing in crypto, it was back in March of 2020. So I had the pleasure of investing in crypto when it was down a tremendous amount, from that last big cycle. And so I think Bitcoin was around 3 to 5K around that time as well. Yeah, I think it was March 2020. So that was my first purchase as well, was Bitcoin. And then from there, just to tell you, my first 4 purchases was Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and XLM. Those are my first 4 purchases of the crypto space.
Yeah, solid choices.
And for me, I saw the handwriting on the wall. I also saw that being in investing, as you're in an investing space, our job is to see opportunities that other people don't see. And this is why we're able to take advantage of life-changing wealth. And I saw cryptocurrency as one of those vehicles, because when I understood the stock market, I was like, man, so many people missed out on Google, on Apple, on Microsoft, on Amazon, and I said, man, crypto's giving us the same opportunity to do this now, but at a lower cost. And I said, man, this is a no-brainer. Then when I started reading books as well and seeing all of the financial institutions that was invested, I knew what was up, because I've always been a firm believer of following the money. And so that just kind of started me down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
And it totally makes sense, right? Because I always look towards the future and what's going to happen, right? And I can just take a look, and our biggest favorite example, of course, is Blockbuster and the streaming service known as Netflix. And of course, we saw what was going to happen. Blockbuster didn't see it, but then there it is. And then you can even take a look at just how much everything got accelerated with e-commerce, with Amazon, and then all the different stores that are going out of business. So let me ask everybody out in the chats, when you were driving in your neighborhood or outside in the city, how many different for rent signs do you see on the different strip malls? How many different malls have you seen that actually go out of business? How many different businesses are just out of business, either because of COVID or because they became irrelevant because of the different influx of technology? So I see the same thing happening with banks because, do we really need the banks to be around? I think in some aspects we do, but for a lot of things, loans, interest, savings account, checking account, paying bills. Do I really need a bank? I really don't.
Right.
Oh, buy the dip, sell the tips here. Hey, man. the
What's up,
DJ.
man? Welcome to the stream, man. Another good channel as well. Check him out as well. Literally, his channel is what it says on the screen there. Um, One question I want to ask you: how do you feel about all of the new news surrounding VGX? I mean, I'm super pumped about it because I mean, of course, we have the they just bought out Quantify for 85 million acquisition. They just partnered with USIO. We have the VLP that's going to be starting September 1st. The token swap is currently going on. And then after the VLP kind of gets up and running, they're going to be working on debit cards and things like that. And then after debit cards, credit cards, and all of that good stuff. So we got so much down the pipeline and so much revving up, you know. So kind of talk to me about that, Rob. Like, what's your thoughts on VGX right now?
I mean, I did this show in January 7th of this year, and I did my price predictions, and the wackiest one that I had was Voyager, and I said it was 29 cents, and I said it's going to $30 by the end of the year. And I said that because of the tokenomics. It was like only 222 million. I think now with the influx, it's gonna be like 295 million or something like that. And I took a look at the people behind it and what they were trying to do. And I'm like, I think because there's real world utility, and Mike, you just excellently just said exactly what's going to happen. I think it's going to be the only thing that concerns me, the only thing is, can they execute with the influx of people they're about to have? Because it's not just going to be in America with Coinify and then with, not BitGo, but the other LGO. The French exchange, which is going to hopefully open them up to the European market. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, they had a big problem when all the people came in December, January for that big fiasco with Robinhood. And they went from like I would say like it was 160,000 all the way past 1 million in like 4 weeks. You can't. So when all this happens again, I know Steve's been on the show. I think he's been on your show as well. And when he talks about it, he's like, we're planning for this. We're going to do it. When I talk about investing in people, these are the people you want to invest into. Steve's already done it with Lightspeed, which was the institutional platform. And he was also the CEO of E-Trade. So not only does he know how to scale, but he knows about regulation. And these are the things that I am excited about. So if they can execute, I think it'll be great. And I think the $30, my end of year prediction will finally come to fruition, and people can stop bugging me about it. And I think it's good.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, you're not alone on that $30 end of year prediction. I still can see it happening, man. I can still see it happening.
Yeah, I think it is. Like I think we hit $4, which is pretty good, because we were down to like $1. So who knows? I mean, who knows? If Dogecoin can go from practically nothing to the 7th or 8th spot. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And the thing that VGX has shown us, though, when it pumps hard. Like, it doesn't like slowly move up, like it moves up fast. And I think we're going to kind of see that in spurts as we hit newer highs, is what I think.
I think so. That, and of course your BTT, and maybe a little DigiByte from Joe Turton as he talks about it. What else we got? Yeah.
And so this guy says, Mike, are you still bullish on StormX? Yes, I am. Still staking it. And Rob, if I'm correct, I think you're still staking your StormX as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, two things. Still staking, still pretty bullish on the whole thing with StormX. And again, it's because of Simon Yu. Like, I mean, weren't they around since like 2014, 2015?
They've been around for a little bit, yeah. And then kind of like a change of business model in a sense.
Yeah. So I think that they can continue to blow up. And don't they have it with the Portland Trailblazers? They actually inked a deal with them to actually be on their jersey. So when you're watching for 5 years, so hopefully the Trailblazers, make the finals, or at least the playoffs. I don't know how good they are this year. And then people can keep asking, like, what is that thing on there? What does that do? Oh, that's crypto. I've heard of crypto. You mean like Bitcoin? Yeah, but better than Bitcoin, because, I can do other things. You can get money back on all your purchases, or crypto cash back.
Right. And so Rick says, what about banana? So this is honestly, I haven't talked about this on YouTube at all. This is like a gem that I've only shared with my Patreons, and we've seen like a 2x already on it in about maybe a month. So it's just a DeFi project, but I'm not going to really speak too much on that, Rick, but just want to show you some love. And then Pancake Swap is still undervalued. So Rob, I know at first you wasn't really into DeFi too much, and you said you were going to look into it. Have you looked into it too much with your busy schedule, or are you still kind of doing other things at the moment?
No, I mean, look, DeFi is going to change the whole game. It's going to change everything. It's going to, if there's any part of blockbustering banks, DeFi is a big section of that. Because I mean, really, what do you need? Again, what do you need the banks for? So if you can swap everything and you can burn fantastic yield, then you're good. The only thing is they got to figure out about how to stop all these rug pulls and all these hacks. And once they can figure that out, then I think it'll be great. And so we're on the trip in Puerto Rico, and I was talking to my future son-in-law, and he works in AI, and I said we were talking about crypto, and I said, I think in the old days you had the lawyers who would look at a contract and go, okay, this is good, but you got to protect yourself here and don't do this, da da da. I think in the future the new people who look over contracts will be like him, like people who are developers, and look at that and go, okay, this is good, this is going to get you in trouble, this is going to lead to a rug pull, and da da da. And I think that will be the future of where we go. People will actually go to coders for contracts, and then that'll be it. So as far as like DeFi, I own Aave. What else? I still hold my Uniswap, because I mean from the airdrop or from the release, because it was such a great thing from the community. 400, baby, 400. And then gosh, what else do I own in DeFi? Iron Finance? No, I'm just kidding. I don't own that. I got to look it up. I forget all the things. And that's another thing. I sometimes I forget the things that I actually have, because when I first got all the problems in 2017, I whittled everything down to 3 tokens. Or was it 4? 3 or 4. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. And I was like, forget it. And I just did that. And I dollar cost average. And then I added in little things here and there. I added in a little Theta. I added a little VeChain. And then before you know it, I got like 40 different things going on. So let's see. Yeah,
So Sam, real quick, man, let me answer your question. I didn't talk too much about BTT, but if you're asking for like a price prediction, I would say just look at the very last video I did on BTT, and you'll get your end of year price prediction on kind of where I think. Even with BTT pumping right now, my thought process and my price predictions are still the same. So just check that out, and you'll kind of get everything you're looking for. So hopefully that helps, Sam.
Yeah. And then Asti says a good one. Asti Benoit, she says, hacks, rug pulls, simplify the process of buying and sending your crypto as well. And that's the big thing. That's the real big thing. Once you can get it into the hands of people where they don't have to look underneath the hood and connect their MetaMask and figure out about gas fees, which gas fees are still pretty damn high, I must say.
Yeah, they are.
So once we can figure all that out and people don't have to deal with it, that's when mass adoption comes. Mass adoption for the internet didn't come when you had to do a lot of things with like writing a little bit of, doing things with like your actual browser and actually typing in like the exact things for almost like being a coder back in the day. Now you just go to Google, search something, and up it goes. That's when everything takes off.
And so, Rob, do you think ADA could hit $10 by the end of the year with the partnerships, smart contracts launch, everything that's happening?
First of all, if I say anything about Cardano on my channel, everybody's like, "You're a shill, you shilling jerk." And then when I talk about Ethereum, everybody's like, "Yeah, that's right. It's going to 10,000." So it's good to come on a channel where I can just talk freely about Cardano.
Please.
Look, Cardano's awesome, and we have a team over for the D News stake pool, and me and the guys, we talk about it, and they look at different projects to stake on. We're looking into Avalanche. We're probably going to do some things there. We've looked at Ethereum. We've looked at Polkadot and all the different things. And they said, look, as far as like the easiest and the most precise and just the best tech that's out there, they said, and these guys are coders. I mean, they were around in the testnet days of Cardano, and they've done a lot of different things. They go, it's by far the easiest and by far the best and by far the simplest and by far the safest. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that. I asked him questions about something else. Like, no, that one sucks. So when I see Cardano, it's like, and people talk about it like it's a ghost chain. No one's building on it. I'm like, are you that blind to what is going on? Or did you fall down the rabbit hole like I did? And look, here's the things, folks. Sometimes even I get tunnel visioned and I get tribalistic because I own a bunch of something. And that's a problem. When you've got a ton of Ethereum, right? Which I have more Ethereum than I have Cardano. When you have a ton of that, it's really easy to look at everything around you and go, no, that sucks. Polkadot, that's no good. That's no good. Because you own so much. But if you really take a step back, are you 100% sure? Are you 100% sure that it's not going to dig into the market cap that is your coin? And if you can say 100% sure, then, well, I think you're better than me. But I think you just got to look at everything. And Asti says, yeah, crypto is emotional. And that's a problem because we should be just investors, unemotional.
Absolutely. And this is why we always say don't invest more than you can lose, because when you're just investing, I guess, play money, it immediately limits that emotion almost, right? And so I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
So where do you think? So Mike, okay, well, I'm gonna get you on the hook right now. Where do you think we're gonna go this week? Let's just talk about this week. What do you think's gonna happen?
Man, as far as the whole crypto market as a whole?
Yeah, the whole crypto market cap as a whole going down from like big caps 1 through 20 to smaller caps 30 down. Do you think we can hold this? Do you think it'll keep going up sideways, or a big pullback's coming?
So what I think, Rob, I think that we're gonna teeter by look. So during the stream, as when we started, we were at 2 trillion.
Yeah.
Then we went down a little under, and we can see right here it says it's 2 trillion. Probably hasn't all the way refreshed. But what I think though, I think we're gonna teeter between the 2 trillion market cap until we can fully break past.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to hit like 2.1, 2.2 trillion just to get close to that recent all-time high at 2.6 trillion. So I think right now we may see it hit 1.8 to 2 trillion. It may go a little over 2 trillion until we see that next full pump. That's just what I think. I think if we can get over that 2.1, 2.2 trillion, we may be on our way back to the recent all-time high. But I don't think that's going to happen this week. Not this week. That's just in general.
That's just crazy. But who knows? It could be. There's always a 1% chance. But no, I agree. So where do you think we're going to go towards the end of the year? Because everybody's kind of expecting, like, everybody knows the 4-year cycles, right? I mean, we all talk about it, and then we know. And some people talk about an elongated cycle, like into the cryptoverse, Cowan's smart guy, real smart guy. And so let's just say that we start to go higher around December. Do you think it'll be the same thing where everything kind of goes down in January? Or do you think we could continue all the way to like a February, March higher highs?
That's a great question. I think it really depends on when the market peaks.
Yeah.
And I think that will kind of put in motion when we start to see that decline. So I think it really depends on when we see that market peak. And then I think it will start to, because one thing that history's shown, the peak doesn't last long at all. So the peak is like there, and then it's like decline. And so I think shortly after the peak, wherever that may be, is when we start to see it. So if we hit the peak going into September, October, well, probably going into December, January, we may be at a setting new low point. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just kind of hard to say.
So nobody knows. Here's the thing. Me and Mike don't have a crystal ball, and we're not Nostradamus. So and anybody who says we know exactly where it's going is full of it. They have no idea what they're talking about. Really what it comes down to is we're giving you educated guesses. Some are more educated than others as far as like the guesswork. But when it really comes down to it, you really just got to take a look at it as go, okay, what's my goals? Where am I going? What's my plan? And then we didn't talk about it, but as far as like taking profits, my friend CJ at Micro Rebellion says the same thing. Every time, nobody ever went broke taking profits. And then if you can just do that up, as it goes up, you should be okay. And you're never going to time it perfectly. You're never going to hit the top, and you're never going to buy at the bottom. It just does not happen. Just do your plan and see what happens, and just work it. That's all.
And kind of just piggybacking before we get ready to close up here shortly. One thing I want to piggyback off what you said, Rob, is you said you never can time the bottom.
No.
And this kind of goes and coincide why you dollar cost average. Yeah, you may miss some gains, but you would rather have that safer risk level or risk tolerance as it goes up than trying to time it. And one thing for me, this is kind of something I do. You know how you never want to catch a falling knife. And so one thing I do, if you see it dropping, if you're really wanting to go in, wait for it to maybe start to rise back up again. Yes, are you going to lose some of those gains? Yes, but at least you don't have to worry about catching that falling knife. And that's just kind of what I would do. And that's when you have to kind of put in your mind, am I being greedy with this investment or am I being patient, right?
Yeah, perfect example. And then exactly what Mike said. And then there was a great story from Peter Lynch again. And he talked about how in his heyday when he took over Magellan Hedge Fund, there was a concept as far as different companies that were pretty big, and one of those was Polaroid. Remember Polaroid? So they said that anything below $100 was a steal, and then so he, when he first took over Magellan, like the first couple of months, it went from 130, 140, then it went to 120, then it went to 98, and he's like, okay, well, this is a pretty good deal, so they bought a little bit, and then it went to 60. He's like, this is the greatest deal of all time. And they went in hard. And then it went to 40, then it went to 30, then it went to 13, and then it went to 8. And he was like, wow, what the heck is going on? And he learned at that point, he goes, so there is this theory, and you guys have heard it too. Bitcoin's never going below 30,000 again. Then it goes below 30,000. Or Bitcoin's never going to go above, and it goes above that. So again, nobody knows. So if you just as things dip, or listen to Mike and just go, hey, when there's a little bit of an uptick, maybe that's the time to get in there. If you can do that over and over again, I mean, you'll do pretty well. And people always talk about buy the dips. Peter Lynch always talks about it as well. Not Warren Buffett, he doesn't talk about that. But if you can do those things, like right now, it was Mike, you bought the dips here and there.
Oh, yeah. I was able to bring my VGX costs way down, man.
Exactly. When you can buy those dips, and there was multiple dips, right? I mean, we had one guy said, he goes, I'm buying the dip from the last dip, but I'm all dipped out. I got no dip cash. And but right now, as things are going up, now you feel like a genius. Now you're like, I knew it the whole time. But during that time, even for me, it's hard to go, okay, Bitcoin went from 64 to 30. I'm going to buy some of that. It's tough. But if you don't do it, it's just one of those things where you're like, shoot, I should have done it. That's what separates the investor from the emotional trader and the ones who get wrecked.
Well said. And this is why I have Mr. Rob on the channel. And Rob, please plug anything you would love to plug. Your social media, Dan Teaches Crypto. It's free, guys. So please plug it, Rob. Where can they find you and find some other free information from you?
Yeah, just go to Dan Teaches Crypto, danteachescrypto.com. I made it free because I felt like not everybody's from the States. I mean, you got people in Sub-Saharan Africa, you got people in India, you got people in Kazakhstan or wherever else they're at, and they can't afford anything. So I just made it free. It's just right there. Now there are affiliate links, just so you know, here and there. One is to Voyager. So if you don't like using the links, don't use the links. But everything else on there is free, and it's the best advice that I've compiled over the last 2 or 3 years, and I put into sections, and I break it down into like the basics, investing, projects, and then safety. So just have at it.
Yeah, definitely follow him. And also remember, he is a featured channel on the YouTube channel. So if you just go to my YouTube channel, he's one of the featured channels. So you can definitely go and subscribe to him there. Gives really great information. And so one other thing I want to talk about before we get out of here, he keeps asking. So I just want to answer the question.
Solana.
What do I think about Solana? Man, I've made a couple of videos on it. So if you haven't heard, in brief terms, I think Solana is going to be a blockchain that's here to stay. And so what's your take on that, Rob?
I think that Solana is one of those projects that is doing already what Ethereum was supposed to do and Cardano could do. And it's a layer 1 solution. There is no layer 2s. The throughput is pretty good. They have a great team. You got to watch out. And there's a reason why it's in the top 20, right? I'm pretty sure about that.
Yes, number 12 right now, I believe.
Yeah, it went up crazy. And me and Mike have a pretty positive outlook. Even James from Invest Answers, who was like super conservative, his price prediction was higher than mine. And I was like, wow, that's pretty good. So
thanks, Rob. No problem. Well, hey, man, that is pretty much all we got for the stream. We've been on here for about an hour. I know Rob has a lot of stuff to do. He's just getting back from vacation. So I want to say thanks for coming on as well. And if there's anything you want to tell the viewers, Rob, there you go.
Tell the viewers, no, just know that, look, there's going to be ups and downs, and you're not going to hit every time. You're not going to buy every dip, and you're not going to sell the top and buy at the bottom. Just don't beat yourself up over it. And then as time goes on, just if you make gains, you're happy. No one ever went broke taking profits and all that good stuff. And just let it go. You don't have to be a millionaire tomorrow. You don't have to be a millionaire in a week, but you can get there. It just takes a little bit of time.
Well said. Well said. Well, future millionaires, that is all we got today. I want to say thanks for tuning in. All of the super chats, all the super stickers. Thank you. Go check out Rob as well. Remember, he's featured on the YouTube channel, so definitely go check him out. Dan teaches crypto as well. Go check it out. But Rob, thanks for coming on again, man. We have to do this soon.
Yeah, we'll do it again when I can figure out what the hell time zones are called. Yeah, I'm good. All right. I'll see you guys.
See you.
Thanks.